What makes you feel most phony?
I guess just in any situation like that where you feel like you're gonna have to follow some rule about like this is what bands do or like this is the professional thing to do. You usually come to a situation like that and kind of assess it and be like, okay, well, let's pick out the valuable reasons why this is the thing to do, and then maybe pick out the ones that are just like, why the fuck would I do that? And just go from there. And like whenever I am in a situation like that where I don't really have the choice to pick those assets out, that's when I feel like the most phony, and I'm just like, this is bullshit. Like, this isn't me. This is like some other thing. And I try to keep
That's so band, impressive. Like, I feel like that voice.
It's not always easy to find, but you get better at finding out the more you hear it.
Yeah. When did you feel like you started hearing the voice that was like, this just doesn't feel right? Do you think it was always there?
I think when I first started making music, I was like really young.
How old?
Like 14 or 15.
Holy
I just
shit,
like recorded a song at my house. It sounded terrible. I put it out and I think when I first started making music, I was totally like incapable of hearing the voice, and maybe I'm like halfway good at it now.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it. Yeah. And I don't know if did that happen with homing in on your craft? Like the more that you played, the more that you heard the voice.
Yeah. And honestly, touring for sure. Just you
kind of have
this sort of sense of community that me and the guys have, like our band, just always being in the band together. And, you get to a point where you can't help but get like pulled out of that like weird egocentric, like rock star bullshit thing when you look at the rest of the guys and they're just like, you're not a fucking rock star. No. Like you were farting in the hotel
exactly. Like you just belched so loud earlier. I can't see you as anything but this human right now.
And that's like what I see in bands that I like. And what I enjoy is it's just like you just try and find that and like give
the
people
humanness.
That if they want, 'cause that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's cool. And I feel like you cultivate your social media around that too. Because whenever I look, which is I hate social media so much, but whenever I looked at your social media, I'm like, this just feels different. It feels different from a lot of other accounts that I encounter for musicians, where it's very curated, very careful. And I'm sure that there is still curation there. I'm sure that there's still like thought and consciousness, but it feels very much like you're just like, this is it.
Yeah, there's
welcome to the party.
There's not a lot of sugarcoating to it.
No,
I think that just goes with like, seeing the professional and kind of polished content
that's
sort of get pushed to the side, like especially on like TikTok and Reels and all that. If you post like a $40,000 production movie clip in horizontal mode or whatever, it might get like 4 likes. And then if you post like a video of you at like a gas station,
just existing,
it could blow up or whatever.
Just doing
it's
things.
Just like, I think that's just, whether it's like what you should, try and be the best at or whether you should not worry about it. It just shows that people are not interested in like the fake thing. Like I was saying, like that sort of situation where it's like, people want something real now more than ever. It's just like everything is very digital and duplicatable. Yes, that's a word.
Yes, photoshopped.
Yeah, exactly.
Who makes you feel most like yourself in your life? Who allows you the space to feel most like yourself? Because I feel like it's that. Nobody makes you do anything.
It's a corny answer, but probably Willa, my girlfriend.
Cool. Yeah.
It's like when we are together and make music together and when we're just hanging out, the way we can switch between like hanging out as significant others and then hanging out as like bandmates is like one of the weirdest and coolest things ever. And it's totally not like a Fleetwood Mac situation where we get in fights about
that shit's wild.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, knock on wood. But like, that is like one of my favorite things. Just like getting to be in a band with her, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I think it's hard having a partner where that's the case. You have to really actively try to make that a point. Like to
it's really like surprisingly somehow not been that difficult.
Good for y'all. I'm happy for you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean it's the same way, obviously less like romantically, but still a little bit romantically with my band. It's just like the way that all those things are centered around music is so fucking cool, because it's just like those people in my life that I'm in a band with, or
Mhm.
get to play music with, or just get to create something with, I always feel the closest to, because it's
Mhm.
like, we just made this thing. Holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
it's always nice.
Do you feel like they hear that voice too? The one that you kind of hear?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we
It
all
feels like you guys are all
hear it
following the same
together
thing.
sometimes, and
Yeah.
we'll point it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys write songs? Like, what's the process there?
It's all over the place.
Is
It
it?
depends on the song. Usually I'll go upstairs in
Yeah.
our studio and, come up with like a guitar riff, or usually start
Mhm.
with like a melody or something that I'm really into
Mhm.
melodically, and start with music. And then I have loads and loads of lyrics and things that'll just like hit me in the face at
Mhm.
random points of the day. I'll be like driving down the interstate. I know you're not supposed to do that, but like it always hits me when I'm
He doesn't.
driving in
He
the
doesn't
car.
do
I
that.
have to like
Yeah.
collect it in that moment, or it's fucking gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
But yeah, I just have like loads and loads of lyrics and sort of weird little phrases and
Yeah.
things, and I'll, upon creating like a melody or some kind of
Mhm.
thing
That
that
you
I'm
really
into, I'll
dig.
try to find how, a story fits
Yeah.
into that, and
I
then
love
I
that.
would show it to them. Other times, like Aiden will make this crazy orchestra.
Feels like he does a
rock and
lot of
roll
stuff
shit.
too. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
it feels like he's very
a Swiss Army knife.
multifaceted.
Like,
Yeah.
He recorded
like the
our most
nickname?
recent song, plays bass,
Yeah.
keyboard, sings. He's in like 50 other bands. Like,
I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him really around town much.
Yeah, he plays with Wishmeyer and the High Hopes, Milkman, the big band, and then his most recent thing that he did is he has like his own project called the Analog Kid.
Oh, cool. Oh, I think I've heard of that. Wait, have I?
Yeah, that's his like username.
I don't know why I'm
on
asking you.
Instagram.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm asking the other voice in my head, but that's cool. So who did you meet first within Time Warp? Like, because this is
my brother. I met
Okay.
when I was like born, and then Aiden I met in high
Wait,
school.
you mean Ben?
Yeah.
I had no idea Ben was your brother.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Worlds are just converging now. All right, I'm with you.
I don't
That's
know why I
crazy.
didn't tell you that.
I don't know why I
say that.
didn't know. It's like now that you say it though, I'm like, okay, that was the vibe. That makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So yeah, that was like origin story meeting Ben. Cool.
Like I didn't even have a choice to meet
right,
him.
right.
you know what I mean?
Like here we are.
And then in high school, I met Aiden. We were both in band. I was like playing percussion in
Nice,
band. He played
nice.
trumpet at different schools, but we still somehow found each other through high school band.
Wild.
And then made a high school band. And yeah, there's a whole story I could go into. But Daniel,
If you want to.
this is an interesting one I don't tell that
Okay.
often, but Daniel played drums for Devin Badgett, who's another local dear friend of mine. He's like one of
Okay,
the first
okay.
bands I played in.
Yeah.
And I would fill in for him every now and then on drums.
Okay.
'Cause that was my first instrument. And so,
From your dad.
yeah,
Cool.
right. It's
Gotcha.
all connected.
It's all coming together.
So I would fill in for Daniel
Uh,
on drums. And in order to fill in for him, I'd have to watch these videos of him playing. You
like
know,
replicate it.
I remember one song they used to cover was "When You Were Young" by the Killers.
Yeah.
And I remember watching like videos of Daniel play "When You Were Young" and like taking notes and all this. And it had got to the point where I had watched him play so much on video trying to learn what he was playing that when it came time for us to, make a band and
Mhm.
start playing shows with under our project or my project, I was like, well, I know a good drummer. I've been watching like
Hey.
his videos for like however long.
But you guys hadn't met yet, had you?
We had met a couple
had,
times, yeah, but
but
we
weren't
hadn't
very
really
close.
like hung out
Yeah,
much. Like,
But you knew his face.
yeah.
Oh, you knew
No,
every detail.
I was a little bit like starstruck.
You knew the little lines in his hands too. And, like, yeah, it was-
Exactly.
yeah.
I had studied him completely.
That's
But, yeah.
awesome. Wait, so when did Time Warp really when did you feel like it was real? Like when did you feel like it was going to become this? Do you still not feel like it's becoming something? I don't even know. I don't know what kind of
That's also a thing too. Yeah. I
It's
think,
also
yeah,
a
like
thing.
there's-
There's also a really
there's
poorly
two
worded
sides
question.
of the coin, I guess. Like sometimes it's doesn't even feel like anything's happening.
Yeah,
and then
you're
other
just kinda
times it's
doing
like,
it.
This is the only thing that can happen ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think like during the pandemic, like I said, when we made
Mhm.
the album Distant Forest, we
Mhm.
went to Nashville, we made it there, and the pandemic hit, and you would think that would be like the perfect time to release music, and like I said, I can't
You just
even
weren't
really
feeling it.
understand why we didn't put it out earlier, but
Have you
We-
thought about it a lot? Why you didn't?
honestly, that whole process of making that record was like a fucking blur. Like,
Oh, was it?
It was great blur.
Yeah.
It was one of the best blurs ever.
Yeah.
But it was like totally just like a blur. So there's not really much for me to like reflect on because
Yeah.
I don't even really
I mean, COVID was
remember
weird as
how all
fuck.
that went down.
Yeah,
But,
it was just an interesting time in general.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, so we started recording the album in February. Our
Mm.
whole like session was like a week and a half or something, and we were totally done with it. But as we were like, you know, he was sending us mixes back and
Mhm.
kind of like compiling the record and like getting ready to put it out. That's when like the pandemic hit, and we were like gonna tour and do all this stuff. There wasn't ever like a moment where we were like, oh, we're gonna hold off on putting the album out. I think it was just like time got away, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
started delaying it and dramatizing it,
Time
and just
warp.
thinking more about the world and what was going on, and
Yeah.
and less about, you know, our silly little band.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really cool thing to happen. If I was to say anything good about it, I mean, obviously it's a really like tragic situation, but it did make people sort of stop their projects
Kinda
and
wake
kind
up
of
a
stop in
little.
their tracks
Yeah.
and just kind of look at the world a little bit
Yeah.
more. And I think it was very unfortunate, but maybe somehow educational to have lived through
Yeah.
that. I think we're all gonna realize that in a couple
Oh,
of
yeah.
years.
Yeah. I feel like I always bring him up, but he's kind of a prevailing force in Ben's and my existence. Have you ever heard of Ram Dass?
Yes.
Okay, cool. He says everything is perfect.
Yeah.
And like it's all tragic and it's all suffering and we're all like feeling kind of shitty, but it's
Yeah.
all perfect. It's all, this is exactly where we need to be in this moment. And
Yeah.
we just need to be here right now. And it's
Be Here
okay.
Now.
Yeah. Hell
I've
yeah.
admired that book, Be Here Now, since I was like
See,
a little
that's
kid.
surprising too. Not now that I know you, but it's like I don't think a lot of people have encountered that and connected with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't taken like the deepest dive into it, but
Yeah.
that book definitely just
Yeah.
resonates with me a lot. And like, you know, I mean, even beyond just like the whole spiritual thing and just
Yeah.
like from an artistic standpoint,
Yes.
like the fucking
It's
drawings
gorgeous.
in that
It's
thing, it's
gorgeous.
beautiful. It's so
Yes.
cool.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. Do you read a lot?
I go through like phases.
Do you?
but I would say I read a fair amount. There will be like phases where I don't read for like 2 or 3 months, and I couldn't tell you why.
And then
I try to
consume,
figure
like,
out how
10.
it lines up with like what's going on in my life, and it
Yeah.
never does. So I just
Or like,
like
phases of the moon
I think
or
everything
something?
is just like chaos when it comes to that. Like there's because sometimes like the idea of sitting down to read is just like a fucking chore. And
It
then sometimes
is.
I'll be like literally hanging out with people, having so much fun, and just being like, man, I wonder what, you know, Kurt Vonnegut or Cormac McCarthy has to say.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
like, wanna crawl in the
This
corner and,
is
like,
pretty random.
it helps
That's
with
pretty cool.
writing though, for sure. I mean, I think anybody that writes would say that. Like after you read a really good book, you're just
Mhm.
kind of like, oh fuck, like I can do that.
Yeah,
You know,
I
not
need
like
to get
write a
this on
book, but like I
paper.
can, you
No,
know,
yeah,
convey
fuck writing a
something in
book.
that way.
Yeah. Is that where you get most of your inspiration? Or is it just kind of all
no,
over?
not really. But I think that there's there's an element of it in there
Mm-hmm.
for sure. There's a lyric in Roy G. Biv that I kind of just stole from Kurt Vonnegut.
What is it?
It's the truth is no way to treat an animal. He says the truth is, wait, what does he say? Life is no way to treat an animal. Yeah, yeah.
God?
There you got me.
Was
that was the ghost of Kurt Vonnegut. No,
That's
yeah, life is
beautiful.
no way to treat an animal. And so that song, Roy G. Biv, is about like lying and the truth and lying to yourself and your true colors and how you feel like a million different people
Yeah.
from time to time and how those people have different colors in my mind, I guess. And so I just kind of literally just replaced the word life with truth and completely plagiarized Kurt Vonnegut.
No, he didn't. He did not. It's the same thing with the texting. He did not do either.
Yeah. Cross my
It's
heart.
fine. So Roy G. Biv and Casket Shopping,
Yeah.
those haven't been released yet.
They have not.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I'm
When
really
are you
excited
planning
about
on
those.
releasing them?
So Roy G. Biv comes out on the 30th of June.
Cool.
Which,
Congratulations.
thank you. And
Yeah.
then Casket Shopping, we're looking at July. We're hopefully going to be just like releasing a song a month for
Just
like
kind of month. Yeah.
the rest of the year. We'll see how it goes. Don't
Yeah.
quote me on that.
It's okay. Don't worry. No
we always
stress.
delay
It's a safe
things.
space. You're good.
But yeah, I think Casket Shopping in July.
Yeah.
And then we have a song called Nightmare or The Nightmare's Finally Over that we did a video for
determined.
that I'm really excited about.
Yeah?
I think that'll be like more towards the fall, but that'll
for
be
you.
really cool.
Is an album kind of in the works?
Yeah, the word album scares me a little bit. It always will.
Does it? Why?
It's just such a
Is it just
commitment
really heavy?
of grouping things together.
Yeah. But you've done it
It's
so
steamy.
meticulous.
It's so
It's
much
hot.
easier to think about songs as like one thing that you
Like
don't
an
have to
entity.
like
Yeah.
group all together.
Yeah.
But my favorite things are like projects that are grouped
Yeah.
together. So
And you
gotta
do it so well. Your albums are so I hate using this word because I feel like I use it all the time, but it was very curated. Like I feel like you thought about the process, the order, all of it just feels very cohesive whenever I listen to them through.
That's really good
So
to
you
hear.
do a really good job. I know it might feel overwhelming, but
Well,
you
maybe
kill
the
it.
overwhelmingness just makes us like kind of overcompensate.
Push a little bit more. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I always try to justify it with that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
that
wonder when
album
you'll
was
just
like,
relax about it.
we called it a concept album. We were making it. I don't know if it's really a concept album, but
What do you mean
it's
by that?
conceptual to us. We had this whole concept about like it being like an apocalyptic scenario where like the world is ending and there's this ship that's taking people to another planet, and that's broadly the idea of it. So
I
like
can see that.
yeah, like distant forests, like
Yeah.
the new world is out there waiting for us. There's a fruitful life
Yeah.
growing in a distant forest. It's like we didn't really like go
Like full,
like
yeah, in.
Frank Zappa with it or
Yeah.
whatever, but we wanted to.
Yeah.
kind of.
Damn, that's cool though.
Yeah, there were a couple songs on that record that we realized fit with the concept
Mhm.
after we had already written the song and hadn't even like before we'd even thought of the concepts, which was I thought was like a reason why we did it. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh man, I wrote that song like 3 years before we even thought of this, and somehow it goes perfectly with that concept. So
Crazy how that works, right?
or maybe that just means the concept was really broad. I don't
There
know.
it is, or something. All right, I had a question too, and I just want to make sure that I worded this properly because I thought it was pretty good. So this is from Ryan, and I believe they live in South Carolina. How do they get their mixes so damn crispy?
Damn. Aiden Lamb, the analog kid.
There it
Final
is.
answer.
The final answer. And then, so Aiden's doing most of your production now, correct?
Yep.
Cool.
We are just like literally trying anything and everything and
Mhm.
learning together. I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot more than he knows a lot more than I am. I'm learning from him.
He's guiding you. He's
Yeah.
like the guru.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's a really cool creative
Mm-hmm.
space to just, be at your house and there's no clock ticking
No.
or money flying out of your wallet. You just
I
kind
can't
of get
even
to
imagine that pressure.
Yeah. I mean, we've worked in that environment a bunch of times, and
Yeah.
even with like people that I really love and like
Mhm.
highly
There's
respect.
still like this looming.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's just something about being able to have the steering wheel and
Yep. Just
be a little
exist.
bit more relaxed. It's worked
Yep.
for us a lot better. But I am envious of those bands that are just like fucking amazing. They just go in some big like rough trade New York
Yeah.
studio and like kick ass in like 3 days and have like a full record. We can't do that.
No.
We have to sit around and like
Let it come to
yeah, we
you.
have to like marinate in it for way too
Yeah,
long.
exactly. So are you currently touring right now? What is the-
sort of? We're doing like some on and off like weekend warrior stuff. We just
Yeah, yeah.
played at the Basement in Nashville and then Johnson City at like a festival. And really our next big tour is in August. We're gonna
Okay,
go
cool.
from here in Knoxville all the way out to LA. So we're gonna go
Cool.
down through like I think it starts in New Orleans, then it goes like Austin, San Antonio, a bunch of places in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and then over through like Arizona. And then when we get to California, we do like LA, San Diego, San Francisco, and then we're coming back through Colorado to get back. It's going to be
Does that
probably the
excite
biggest
you?
tour. Yes.
Like, are you
absolutely.
excited about it? Do you like touring?
Yeah.
Cool.
I definitely do. I mean, it's taxing
Oh,
sometimes,
God, I
like
can imagine.
just like
Holy shit.
physically, mentally,
Yes.
like everything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some of the best things in life are taxing or
A
whatever.
little
that's
bit.
supposed
Yeah.
to mean.
It requires a little bit of work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
How do you cultivate a space whenever you're touring where you feel most peaceful?
That's a really good question. You have some really good questions.
I try.
I think Well, the corniest and funniest answer I can think of is just
Is it
incense.
Willa again?
No, it's not Willa again.
Who we can't wait to have on for Red
Yes,
Moon.
yes.
Just saying.
Hell yeah.
We're trying to figure out the scheduling.
Dude, we kind of did the same thing. It's all over the place.
It happens. It happens.
No,
All right.
but,
Don't
yeah,
deflect.
the corniest answer for that is incense. Like me and Aiden
Really?
we'll just light incense. We're like,
I'm
dude,
immediately
it just
zen.
changed everything.
Yeah.
Like the vibes are right. And then we'll play like the worst take ever and be like, light another one. Get another one going.
We just need to be able to not breathe and then we'll be fine. Like we'll just make it
No,
really,
literally,
really
we have
cloudy.
like a fog machine in there
Yeah.
and incense, like
Yeah.
the sticks and the cones.
What
like,
is it with
we're
musicians
just
and
like,
fog
I need
machines?
another take.
You guys also need inhalers. We'll just
Yeah.
like stock you guys up with some.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a nice tour. That's pretty cool though. I'm glad that you like doing that because I think sometimes it's just such a money making
Yeah.
thing.
Well, it's
That people
convenient
are
for
like,
us
well,
'cause
I
we
have
don't
to do
make
it.
any money on the road. You gotta really like it to do it the way we do.
do.
No, I think maybe,
Someday.
as you go on doing it,
Mhm.
you get more experience and therefore probably make more money.
Probably.
And as you're doing it more and getting more experience, it probably gets less fun.
Yeah.
So it kind of, those things just kind of probably come hand in hand for some of the bands that have
Yeah.
been doing it for like a really fucking long
Yes.
time. It's just like, I'm not having fun anymore, but the money just came in
But
and
I'm
like made
loaded.
it completely leveled out.
Yeah.
So like at the stage we're at, I think people would probably say is the most fun, just like where you're fucking broke and having like the time
Yeah.
of your life.
I'm really glad that you're having fun with it. And I hope everyone else is too.
Thank you so much.
And I believe, I'm not really sure when this is going to be coming out, but I think it'll probably be coming out while you're on tour. So
cool.
it's kind of good timing.
Yeah, that
think,
is.
yeah.
That's great
Yeah,
timing.
cool.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
might have a release by then too, but
Hell
don't
yeah, you
quote me
will.
on it.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not written anywhere. Well, I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much
being
for
in the
having us.
studio.
Really
Yeah, you guys
appreciate
are
it.
beautiful
This is awesome.
and you deserve to be able to be seen as the full human that you are.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. From one human to another.
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we'll get going and keep doing your songs.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.